and then I'll get up and talk about myself as well. Thank you so much for coming. Here you go.
Hi everyone, I'm here because I'm one of Kate's clients. And why did I, being a gym junkie since I was 18, why did I decide to take a PT? Lots of reasons, but I know we're on a time schedule, but I'll keep it brief. Coming up to nearly 60, I had to come up with a long-term exercise regime other than pump and RPM. I always thought that doing pump and RPM would be an all-round training regime, but I soon found out that training with Kate is not. I wrongly thought that doing RPM I didn't need to work my legs because I did RPM, but that is so not true. And also pump, you get to a certain stage where you can't put your weights up any longer, or you have repetitive strain injuries through doing multiple exercises. So I thought I'd kept an eye on Kate in the gym, and I thought I'll give her a go. And my results and strength has been absolutely incredible. Something that I didn't think that I would get coming up to my age, especially being menopausal. And I don't know, I think everyone's a little bit younger than me at the moment, so that's something to look forward to. Not. And it also increases your metabolic rate because you're growing muscle, even though you don't look like the Incredible Hulk. But you see the results in insidious ways, in that your jeans are actually getting looser, or your clothes look better on you, even though the scales say otherwise. So what I've learned is to chuck the scales out and go by what your jeans or clothes or how you look in the mirror. And also it's about psychologically feeling better as a woman, and also as a man feeling better about yourself, holding yourself a little taller because you've got actually more muscle bulk on you, or just noticing maybe in the change room mirrors as you turn around, you know how you've got those 3 mirrors in Myer or David Jones, actually going, oh, is that my back? You don't notice it because we're all busy, we all work, we're all mothers. So anyway, and also Kate will give you little diet tips, even though you tend to, I'll question a few of them. And she's at the edge of the industry. That's why you go to her, because she's in the industry, she's on the look for new things. I'm not. I don't have time to be looking at websites about the latest craze or this or that. So I will hand you over to Kate, and I'm looking forward to hearing what she has to say as well.
Thank you so much, Paula. I didn't pay you for that, but so what do you guys want to get out of today? I want to make it as informal and group collaborative and ask questions as we go as possible. You want to know how to exercise more effectively? There are a lot of familiar faces in here, but there's also some unfamiliar faces. So who's currently not a gym member of any gym, like who's not exercising at the moment? No one's looking, don't worry. Who wants more dietary advice than exercise? Yeah, a few people. I'm going to cover everything anyway. Who wants more exercise advice rather than dietary? Today I'm going to obviously cover the obvious, being exercise and nutrition. But I'm also going to cover things that you probably haven't heard of, like lifestyle, and things that I include in lifestyle are your stress, your digestion, your hormones, your sleep. Look, a lot of what I say today is based on my opinion, but as you know, there are documents and many evidence-based studies to say that smoking is good for you, or to say that chocolate's good for you. So there is evidence against what I'm saying, and there's evidence for what I'm saying. If you want the evidence for what I'm saying, just ask me or send me a link or email at the end of today and I'll send you the evidence. As Paula pointed out, there's a lot of fads and things that go on in the industry. I don't like to align myself with a lot of fads. I will talk about paleo eating if you haven't heard about that. If you really haven't heard about that, that will hurt your head today because it's about that saturated fat is not that bad for you when we talk about food things. But I'd like you to keep an open mind and know that I've been talking about that for 10 years. It's not because it's one of the current fads that's around today. It's just what I've seen works with a twist. So my goal for you today is for you to ideally have a little bit of an open mind and take a little bit on board of what I'm saying, but for you to really be honest with yourself and know where your stumbling blocks are and realise that just because you disagree with what I'm saying, that's probably one of them. That's probably why you can't change. And at the end, I'm going to talk about the mindset, which obviously is not, I'm not a counsellor or a psychologist, I just know what works for me and what works for some clients. You have to figure out what works for you. You also have to figure out what works for you with the food and nutrition as well, but I will tell you some shortcut things. And if you implement them, it will make a difference. And then also, as a thank you for today, probably got the email from South Pacific yesterday or the day before. If you're not a member, you wouldn't have got it, so you also get free PT for coming and an online support group, and I'll talk about that at the end. That's just to help keep you accountable even if you don't come to the gym. Because you can obviously be fit and healthy without coming to the gym. And you get workouts and recipe ideas, and we'll hand those out at the end. So to keep your eyes visually stimulated today, we're going to draw on these little post-it notes as I talk. I will require a bit of interaction from you guys, so I do want to cover exercise first because we'll get through that quite fast. Then we'll talk about nutrition. Then we're going to talk about the lifestyle, then we're going to talk about the mindset. When we do exercise and nutrition, if anyone's brave enough, I'd like you to let me give you some personal tips on what's going on in your life with exercise and nutrition at the moment, so I'll analyse 2 or 3 people right now and right here if you'd like that personal advice. Then at the end, I'm also going to save time for questions, okay? And then at the super end, there's registration details at the end where you can leave your stuff to subscribe to newsletters and things as well. Sound good? If your bottoms get sore on those steps, because they are a bit edgy, throw them out, mate. Okay. What do you know about exercise? That obviously you should do it. Probably, what are they saying now, 20 minutes a day? All that stuff. It is crucial, obviously, otherwise you become stagnant like a pond, think of it that way. I like to start with the argument, weights versus cardio. If you're not a gym goer, do you know what I'm talking about? Weights versus cardio. And you do know that obviously weight builds muscle. And you probably, I'm guessing, I don't know how educated or how much you guys, how many blogs you guys read, probably know that cardio burns fat, apparently, doesn't it? If you work at 60 to 80% of your maximum heart rate. No, nothing wrong with that study, it's just like 40 years old. And it doesn't apply to you if your hormones are out of whack. If your thyroid's slightly slow, that won't work. In fact, it makes you more adrenally fatigued. So, I know I'm confusing you. But it's simple, but it's not that easy. Makes sense? You don't have to do that much cardio. I love getting you girls out of the classes and getting you into the gym because that's where you get results. How detailed do you want me to go into exercise? Do you understand how to write an exercise program? Is anyone currently doing an exercise program? A couple of people, put your hand right up if you're following an exercise program for me. Put your hand up if you just come to classes. Put your hand up if whatever you're doing is working. No? I also want to talk about how do you measure if it's working. It's confusing, isn't it? So much information. Whatever you're listening to, even if it's not me, it can be other people, but put the blinkers on, do that information that they tell you to do, or that you read it out, or you put some shell bridges or whatever, she should pay me for that later. You put the blinkers on for 4 weeks, otherwise you can't tell. Then throw it in the rubbish and move on to the next ad or whatever it is that you're going to try. It helps to be accountable as well, I'll talk about that as well. So, we know weights versus cardio, obviously weights is better, but then how do you do them, right? Don't worry about following. For you to get skinnier, and I'll call it leaner, that's a bit of a bad word we like these days because it's nicer than skinnier. It means, I think it means fit muscles, but less fat. So say leaner. For you to get leaner, you don't want to do long, slow cardio. Now, haven't you done lots of long, slow cardio before, and then you go on a holiday, and you get fat? Have you all done that? Well, come on girls, we've all done that before. I'm a girl, I've tried all this stuff before, so I know, shake diets, all that stuff. I've done it as well, even though technically I know I shouldn't do it. I've run lots, trained for triathlons. I was still a size 16 when I was training for a triathlon. I had to wear 3 bras. I had, that was that big, so I cracked a few. So this is all stuff that I've tried over the years to lose weight since having a baby, because I've been fat as well. So, and it's not, this is fine when you're 20. Actually, everything works when you're 20. Sorry if you're 20. Got this to look forward to. Sorry if you're under 20. What you want is this. And if you're going to Google anything, you want this. You want this to be stimulated. You want this to be stimulated when you exercise. You want it to be stimulated when you're asleep. It makes you younger. It grows muscle tissue. Regenerates your cells. Is anyone Googling it right now? There's another different thing. The main difference between this and this, as a general rule, is that when you do weights, you push something heavy for a while, right? You know how the guys are in the gym, in any gym, just imagine gyms that you've seen on TV, and they do their weight exercises, and then they stand around and have a chat, and then do another one, they have a chat, another one, have a chat, another one, have a chat. Meanwhile, all the chicks are on the treadmill, and if you took a film clip of all the treadmills, 12 months later, it looks exactly the same. The same people that look the same. But the guys are different. The guys are having a rest for 2 major reasons. One, so they can lift heavy, so the nervous system repairs and they can lift heavier for the next set. And 2, because it allows the stimulation of that to help regrow tissue. You don't regrow while you're working out, you regrow while you're sleeping. So that's another thing to talk about, getting to sleep. You have to sleep. You just get skinnier while you're asleep, not while you're on the treadmill. So, this is not illegal, but it's better if it's performed in intervals, where you have a rest for a minute or 2 in between. You know what I mean? Sprinters? So you sprint for 30 seconds, rest for a minute or 2, and then sprint for another 30 seconds, rest for a minute or 2, and that 30-second sprint is, oh my goodness, I'm going to fall off the treadmill if I go any faster, or I'm going to throw up. That intense. So, everyone's at a different fitness level, it doesn't matter. You go at your effort level, 10 out of 10. So if you're going to do cardio, that's fine. Do interval training, okay? There you go, that's one secret. Do not do it on consecutive days. Your heart's a muscle that needs to rest. I don't like my clients to do any of this at all, personally, but I let them do it twice a week. If it's in their program and I can't get them out of running, it's fine, twice a week. As long as it's balanced with this. When you run, girls, I know that you weigh yourself when people are not looking or whatever, and I used to be really soft on this, like, oh, it's okay, let's just weigh yourself a bit less. Maybe if you're doing it every day, just do it once a week. No, bring the scales into the gym and I'll start a recycling bin. And I can't be more serious about this. Do you ever get on there and go, oh, I'm going to have a great day? Or, oh, thanks, now I'm finished. And does the bashing yourself up work? I don't know any females that the scales work for. I might be wrong, there might be 2 out of 100. But not below the age of 50. So obviously it's fine, but I think you need time off. I've weighed myself about 18 months and now it's okay. I don't like it a lot, but I just don't get on it. Don't own them anymore. This will make you heavier, but it will make you skinnier. Does it matter? Do you want to get into size 8 or 10 jeans? Or do you want to weigh 50 kilos? Please go by clothes size. I'm not a lot lighter than what I was when I was a size 16. And these pants are from when I was 22. I'm only 24. I do a lot of this now. I used to do a lot of that, and it worked. I used to be able to run around the block and lose 10 kilos. You know how it was? Not anymore. Anyway, be open to the fact that the game changes, that's all. The game just changes on you all the time. You have to have an adaptive personality. What works for somebody else, what works for a 25-year-old model is not going to work for you. All the time. Boys are different hormonally, so in one way you're a little bit luckier. It does tend to be a little bit easier for blokes, doesn't it? Sometimes they just look at the joggers and the weight falls off. Weight falls off. No? Sorry, not the boys in the room. Okay. You can do weight and get a cardio response, and the program that I'm going to give you for coming today is a weight circuit. So it means you move from one to the next, from one to the next, one to the next, one to the next. And anyone who's done my weight circuits knows that they can be beginner, intermediate or advanced depending on the speed that you move. So you get the technique down pat, there's pictures on the programs for you to follow, but it will get you in the weights room. And I'm sorry, all the stuff's now over here. We are putting more over there, that's why there's been space created, and then apparently they're even doing a girly section up the other end too. Get them to put some weights up there too. Is that fairly clear? Ideally your routine should be split up between weights and cardio on different days. Unless you're quite advanced. So ideally weights Monday, cardio Tuesday, weights Wednesday, cardio Thursday, weights Friday. Or if you're not moving at all, just go for a walk for 20 minutes. It does make a difference. Everything you do does make a difference. And that's the mindset part we'll talk about later. And I will refer back to this growth hormone stuff. That makes sense, doesn't it? Any questions about weights cardio? Does someone want to put up their hand and tell me what they're doing with their weekly routine? And then I can suggest things for everybody to hear. Anybody? Yeah?
I try to go to the gym 3 times a week, and I pretty much do spin and pump, and I've got all my weekends non-scooter.
Oh.
So 5
Yep. Yep. By the way, I only train 4 days a week.
But in saying that,
Yep.
I've got like 15 kilos from pregnancy weight to be off, so trying pretty hard.
Yep, good. Don't give up, number one. Are you a member?
Yep.
Yeah. So, again, look at the 50-50 split of how much cardio versus weights you're doing. Have you noticed when you go for a run, you're lighter? Come on, I've seen half you on the scales before and after you work out. So you weigh yourself before and after to see what happens, don't you? Sometimes. Have you not ever done that?
No.
I haven't anyway. They do it at the hour, it's purely to see how much fluid you lose, because after a week of running, for example, you'll be lighter on the scales because you lose what? You lose muscle tissue. Actually, when you run, because your body thinks, oh my god, it's really hard to do, I'm very heavy, you get lighter quicker. Yes, you lose water and fluid, but you lose muscle tissue as well. So at the end of that week, your basic metabolic rate, same example of just anything that's just cardio-based running around, you accept the spin sort of different because there's no impact. You lose muscle tissue, so your metabolism is slower at the end of that week. Yep, you burn 200 calories while you're doing it. I'm going to talk about those today too. 200 calories while you're doing it's gone. But then at the end of the week, instead of your basic metabolic rate being 2,000 a day, it's 1,500. I'm exaggerating, but there's studies for everything. So you're lighter, but if you stop exercising for a week, you get fatter again. As a female, as this whole process is going on, you're growing more fat cells. Don't fill them up until cardio makes you so hungry that you can't help yourself. That's the other downside to cardio that lasts for longer than about 30-40 minutes. Haven't you noticed that? Just ravenous. But you better do another class next week. Do 2 in one day. Yep, that'll work. I'm laughing with you, honestly, because I've done it before too, and I hear the story all the time. Does that make a little bit of sense? So ideally a week should be split up into, okay, so if you're going to do netball, I get that half of this has got to be for your headspace and you've got kids too, you need to get out. So you need to do stuff that's fun. But if cycling's not fun, I'll replace that with a program. Unless cycle is fun, I used to teach cycle, love it. Do it to class, to music, love that too. But the rest needs to be weight training. And as Paul has said, you get so far with pump, and then you get another one with pump. Yep, pump's a great introduction to weights, or a great reintroduction, because everything needs to be periodised to get results. As in, as soon as you start something, you'll get results with it. After 4 weeks, you need to change it. Now, 4 weeks can be between 3 and 6 weeks. Everybody's different. So whatever's going on with your routine, change it every 3 to 6 weeks. The more rapidly you want to change, the more you change the routine. If you're doing 4 cardios, do 4 weights. If you do the classes on the same day, at the same time, change that around. I know that doesn't fit with lifestyles, but isn't it easy to follow a program than to try and get to every class? You put your iPod on, and then you don't have to listen to the boys, you just have to smell them. And they're only in here after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Honestly, there's no girls mixing here all the time. There's no girls in here in the morning. Or Saturday afternoon.
Can I just say,
Yeah.
it's more social in the weights area than it is in the group exercise club. I've met so many people that I didn't know, like I didn't know in the gym, and I see Facebook.
The blokes are actually really friendly. We had some troublemakers here a couple of years ago, they're gone. They are friendly.
Yeah.
They're friendly. You don't have to wear a skirt. You don't have to do exercises that I haven't put any group position exercises on those programs, and there are some that you can do. Well, people call them all kinds of things, you know what I mean, don't you? You make sure your body's facing the right way and they're not looking at you, they're looking at themselves in the mirror.
Oh, they are.
They absolutely are looking at themselves in the mirror. Yeah. They are, they're looking at the upstairs. Does that answer the question? So definitely, it's going to sound repetitive, do more weights. Don't do more exercise, just change what you're doing. Yeah. Use the program. Yeah, sorry.
Talking about the weights, and I'm sure maybe I'm jumping the gun, you might cover this, but is it better to do more repetition at a lower sort of weight or
Good question.
higher weight?
Why would it be that? So I just want to know where you've heard that. Because if you've heard it, that's what everyone thinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose
So now we're getting a bit more
just
specific.
mixed opinions, like between trainers and what you read on fitness blogs and
Which blogs do you read? Just subscribe to a couple.
and like magazines
Yeah.
like Women's Health magazines and
Do you know one of the best fitness magazines? It's the Fitness First magazine.
yeah.
And people would write into the editorial and say, but there's all conflicting information, and so because that's the industry. You have to see what works for you. But as a rule, you won't tone anything unless you lift heavy weights. You will not get big, trust me. For 2 years, I've been trying to grow that. Look at the size of it. It's pretty small, really. Like, you are not going to look like a he-woman. If you do, I say to clients, the first couple of sessions, sue me. I promise, your pants will fall off, not get tighter. will potentially go up or stay the same. But you'll be growing muscle tissue. So unless you're getting your body fat measured at the same time, you don't really know what you're losing. You need to learn to become objective looking at yourself in the mirror. That's another way to do it too. But most women can't do that either. At the beginning, you can do it, but from what I've noticed. Okay, high versus low. So, the basic principles are, if you want to grow, or they call it technically, that's the hypertrophy. So if you want to grow, you do low, as in between 6 to 10, say. I know some of the numbers are wrong. It goes by how long it takes you to do the exercise, because if it takes you longer than about 30 seconds, you're using a different energy system. Does that make sense? So you can only really sprint at your maximum for 40 seconds. For every human being's what's called anaerobic threshold is 40 seconds long. A little bit longer in really advanced athletes. You know, they're trying to push the point to where they throw up. So that anaerobic threshold means if you're working super hard, you know that you're over effort level 8 out of 10 in driving class, for example, when you lose the ability to talk. So when you go over 8 out of 10, then you're in your anaerobic energy system. That is where you create stimulation of that. So cycle class works, but there's not enough rest. So you go anaerobic, 10, 20, 30, 40 seconds, and then you rest. To re-stimulate that here, you go anaerobic, 10, 20, 30, 40 seconds, depending on the time that it takes you to do each rep. So tempo is important. If people really know what they're doing in the program writing, they will include the speed of the exercise. But having said that, it does get made into rocket science and it's not. But just go slow, okay, in control. Light for toning. I don't know who the journalists are for those magazines, but they need to be shot. Like, nothing will happen. Let's have a look at them, I bet it's that. No joke. Same as the people that are telling you you shouldn't eat 5 times a day because you'll get fat. Like, honestly. And the same with the whole mindset thing. Study people that are where you want to be. Be careful of the publications and the information that you let into your head. Like, where do we get all this information from? We're rather brainwashed, and that's how I want to start to talk about food. But does that answer the question? You do need to lift heavy weights to tone anything. You do not have enough testosterone as a woman to increase in size unless you are like 10% of the population that's a special mesomorph shape. Okay, in which case you just have you doing circuits. So yeah, there are some women that can put on muscle easy. So yeah, you can do high reps, you still need to do phases of low reps, but you can do high reps, you can do circuits, there's other things you can do. Then answer the question, you won't get skinnier unless you do some of that. Just try it for 4 weeks, you definitely won't be suitable in 4 weeks, I promise. It takes months. And then it takes months of eating enough protein to grow muscle tissue as well, which we tend to starve ourselves, so it's definitely not going to happen. No muscles are going to grow. Is anyone scared of their muscles exploding? That's why they don't do weights. We'll kind of cross that pad now anyway. Does that answer the question? Yeah.
Hey,
Yep.
how many sets of that would you be doing at 6 to 10 if you're lifting heavier weights?
Good question, Bree. If you're a beginner, 2 is enough to hurt. Anywhere up to 10 sets. Beginner, 2 to 3. So you sit there, rest, sit there, rest, sit there, rest, recover, do it, rest, recover, do it, rest, recover, do it. Obviously make sure you balance between the front muscles and the back muscles, including front of the legs, back of the legs, front of the body, back of the body. Don't just do your mirror muscles like the boys sometimes do. So, beginner, pretty soon that won't make you sore, Bree. That's why you add another one. You add another one, you add another one, you change the exercise, you change the rep range. So you just change those variables, they're called variables, all the numbers, the time between, the tempo, the rep range is all called variables. Just change the variables. Lift heavy and change the variables. There you go. Speak, don't see you later. So, no, serious. That's the answer. Yeah.
So if you work out 4 times a week, 50 weights workout, how long would the duration of your training be?
the last 2 weeks, no more than half an hour. Another way to periodise it is...
Can you repeat the question, please?
Oh, then repeat the questions. Good idea. How long are my workouts? So the 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Sometimes they're an hour, sometimes they're half an hour. If I'm doing a circuit, it's only half an hour. If I'm doing something like CrossFit, dare I say the word, it's a circuit. I get adrenaline fatigue if I go more than 20 minutes. 20 minutes is my maximum on a circuit. Any kind of circuit, just can't. Otherwise, I have to have sleep. And you know, who's got time to have sleep? I can go heavy for an hour and a half if I've eaten enough for the day. I don't have the time to do that at the moment, but yeah, depends. That's luxurious time, an hour and a half. Do you have that time? No. It doesn't need to be. Under an hour is better for you. Yes. 2 last weeks.
Do you usually do warm-up?
Yes, always. My warm-up is the exercise. Sometimes 2 sets of the exercise. So warm up at a lighter set of the exercise. You'll find it warms your nervous system up so that you can actually get heavier as you go, usually. Yeah. Last question?
Yeah. So you said alternate cardio and weight. But I've heard, and it might be another myth, that it's actually good to do cardio at the end of a weight.
Yep.
Is there no truth in that, or?
No, there is. It just depends on your metabolism and other things. So that works for Amanda, Queen and Lean. Anyone read her blog? No? She can pay me later too. Because she's so lean. Because she has a certain amount of muscle tissue. So everybody's different. So try it for 4 weeks. I haven't done any cardio for 18 months. But that's me. I don't like it. No, it made me, pardon?
Are you fit things? You don't do
Yeah, so I got so cranky the other day, I went home and I had to go for a run, and I was gone for an hour, and I didn't stop. So I'm still fitter than I ever have. My resting heart rate is 52. So, yeah. Just had all my bloods done. That's on Facebook as well. Cholesterol's very low. Doctors said, wow, cholesterol's very low. Wow, you should see how much saturated fat I eat. Yeah. I just like starting arguments. Yeah, I'm pretty fit. You get fit. This is 40 seconds worth of a sprint. It is 40 seconds worth of a sprint. And doing them in circuits makes you fit. The circuit I'm giving you shunts the blood from your upper body to your lower body, to your upper body, lower body, upper body, lower body, upper body, lower body. You will die if you do it fast enough.
So, that session we had the other day when we did that circuit where we were both out of breath, that's in your anabolic area or?
Yes, anaerobic. Yep. Yep. That was very advanced. That's like 6 weeks exercises in a row.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I can catch my breath.
Yes.
So we, yeah.
Okay, when we move on to food, because that's even more controversial, then we've got to do lifestyle, and then we've got to do motivation and all that stuff, and that's crucial because me standing up here doesn't make a difference, really. You can read this stuff on the internet, that's not going to make you do anything. Is it? How painful is life at the moment for you to change? That doesn't mean that every morning you tell yourself you're fat, because that doesn't work. So, I like the paleo diet. Has anyone heard of the paleo diet?
Yeah.
So it's no grains and sugar. I'm just open with that. So no grains and sugar. There's nothing wrong with grains. It's not that Atkins diet. The theory being, if it wasn't around, and you know, correct me if I'm wrong, paleo websites will say it differently. So, alright. If it wasn't around, my theory, if it wasn't around 100 years ago, your body doesn't know how to digest it, so don't put it in your mouth. And good luck following the discipline with that one. Because I don't believe the discipline works either. I don't have any. Anyway. It's spelled like that. My blog and website and stuff, all the details are at the back. So this is all written down. for you. Grains are very hard to digest, and since agriculture, what was that? Correct me, 1500 years ago or something, there's been a huge influx in them in our diet. You hear me? Is that off? Cool. Can somebody tell me what they eat for breakfast? Now, I've just told you shouldn't eat grains. Sorry, I should know that, but I'm not around. Yes.
Porridge.
Porridge? Yes. Spinach and avocado on toast. Awesome. Sorry, there's no good and bad. Yep, brownie points. Anyway, does anyone have Weet-Bix? You don't have to put your hand up. You do? Where do we learn that Weet-Bix are good for us? You're cheating, you've spoken before. Seriously, we do. We're completely subliminally brainwashed by that thing. That's right. That's the justification my in-laws use for feeding my daughter Nutrigrain. Anyway. Seriously. You know, there's more regulation on pet food than there is on human food. As in, it has to be deemed suitable to be consumed by the animal before it's passed to be able to be sold as animal food. There's no regulation like that for human food. It's interesting. So it's up to you to use your noggin. Anyway, grains should be fermented before they're eaten to aid digestion. 50 years ago, this is what people did, but 50 years ago, everything wasn't sold in the supermarket in mass production. So this is why everyone's allergic to everything these days. Well, one of my theories. As well as 40,000 pesticides and hormones, etc., in the food supply that weren't there 10 years ago. When I say ferment grains, what I mean is, you know, with your porridge you can make virtual muesli, you soak it in something sour like yogurt, leave it overnight. Grains let off what's called a phytate when they're wet. And that phytate, if it gets into your system, it's purely to stop the grains from being eaten by animals. Animals won't eat grains in nature. Grains eventually evolve to become berries. Berries are really digestible grains. Anyway, over thousands of years we're talking. It takes the human body, they say, 8 to 10,000 years to get used to the macronutrients that are going into the digestive system. So feel free, if anyone's a nutritionist here, to correct me on that. On any of this, actually. Let's have a debate. So it takes a long time for you to get used to your food. And in the last, I don't know how many years, every time I walk down the breakfast cereal aisle, there is something new there in a box for kids that I have to contend with. So I don't put that in the Stella's lunchbox. It's hard. But I make her stuff look like chocolate crackers. 50 years ago, people still soak legumes before they put them in soup, right? So legumes and grains are in the same category. Soy is a legume. Why does this matter? This will all make you fat. That's why it matters. If you eat grains that aren't soaked, you will get puffier. That's why when you go on the Atkins diet, you drop carbs to get skinny. Atkins died of a heart attack as well. Anyway. I also have proof that heart attack's not linked to cholesterol up there. So your health will improve if you reduce the amount that you have, or at least soak the ones that you do have. And it makes wheat digestible if it's soaked, if it's fermented. You can't soak bread, obviously. The grains are meant to be soaked before it's made, and it used to be. Traditionally it used to be. There's still some cultures that do. Isn't there? It just makes sense. All this makes sense. Just go back 100 years, it makes sense. Grandma told you what to eat. That recipe was like 100 years old. You know, we weren't all from different parts of the world eating out of holes. So, there are so many laws in other countries that are different to this country, and they're just different. But they have a lot of regulation on food that we don't have. In a good way, I think. There's actually a tax in Holland on anything that's not organic. So the pricing system for organic versus not organic over there is the opposite. The tax on junk food in Norway. Like, massive. Anyone else know anything like that? About those facts from overseas? No, because we just watch the telly. They tell us what to eat. Group your team eat 9 weeks. They've got to be good for you.
There's some food additives and colourants that they in other countries here.
Yeah. Don't get me started. That's the time. So I could do 8 hours on nutrition. But yes, there's food additives and colourants that are banned in a lot of countries that aren't banned here. Again, it's I don't know who's in charge of the regulatory board for that, but you are. We have to, you're the CEO of your own health, and everybody, including me, I'm just an advisor. An advisor to you, your doctor's an advisor, everyone's an advisor, you have to take responsibility. And it's a bit confusing, so just do one thing at a time. Your taste buds need to change, and so do your kids. Eating this for breakfast will, Weet-Bix are in that category, will catapult your blood sugar through the roof, and then what goes up comes down. If you can't control your insulin through the day, guess what? Okay, not only do you not lose body fat, but you're going to have no discipline. And then you're going to bash yourself up at 3 o'clock, because you can't help but have coffee and a bit of chocolate and a few biscuits. And then there'll be dessert as well. It's not that you are lacking discipline, it's that you've got to control your blood sugar. And the more saturated fat quality and protein you eat, the more stable your blood sugar will be. Therefore, you will be a nicer person to be around because you won't be moody, and that's how you tell whether what you're eating is right for you. As far as ratio of protein and carbs. Nothing wrong with carbs. Grains should be digested partially for you first, as in soak them in water overnight with something sour. So rice, pasta you can't do it with. If you watch it'll make you bloat. Any questions? Anyone now dare to tell me what they eat during the day? Want me to give you 2 or 3 tips of what you could change to make you thinner and healthier in 2 weeks? Yep. Thanks. Can you say it loud, Chara?
I try to do the protein thing early, but then I do want that coffee, great coffee actually. So I have 2 eggs and a protein shake, and that gives me 10:30, 11, and then I have almonds and like hazelnut and strawberries, and then for lunch I have minced meat with organic green sauce on Sunday.
Sorry, just a second. Berries and nuts.
Yeah.
Meat for lunch. Was it?
Well, minced meat with like a tomato sauce,
Yep.
like chicken or beef or yeah, turkey. And then on spinach or rockfish.
Yep.
And then I'm starting at 3 o'clock. So,
Can I ask you, did you sleep through the night?
no, I wasn't at 3 o'clock.
Why?
My mind was not set up.
Your mind wakes you up. Do you go to the toilet?
Yes.
Does everyone think that the bladder wakes them up? If you wake up between 3 or 4 o'clock, and my naturopathic friends can confirm this, so 3 or 4 o'clock is apparently kidney and liver repair. If you're waking up at around 12, 11 o'clock, that's blood sugar. If you wake up between 5 and 6 a.m, it means you need to do a detox. So 3 or 4 o'clock means kidney liver repair are having a problem. It's not usually your brain. Oh, look, yeah, the stress and lifestyle plays a big role, but you can't control, I can't control myself if I'm tired. So I'd be working on your sleep. You have to fix your sleep. Because otherwise you're just going to bash yourself up. Because what, you want chocolate? Yeah. What chocolate do you have? Chocolate, dark chocolate. Pardon? Oh, yeah. I think dark chocolate is completely legal. Cocoa is really full of magnesium, so it's good for you. In fact, I tell my clients I want you to have a row of dark chocolate before you go to bed because magnesium helps you get into a deeper sleep cycle. And then you can make more of that while you're asleep. So dark chocolate is prior to going to bed. Do you do magnesium before you go to bed? Try inositol. Get some of that off for you. Now we're going above and beyond this like brain function stuff.
Where I get confused is, I'm told to have like fruit in the morning and not in the afternoon because I know what's right.
Right for who? Who told you that?
I don't know.
Your naturopath? Then that's right. Did you try it? I can't eat fruit in the morning. Personally, me, it's fine, I like fruit, but it'll make me, it's like I'm eating a bag of lollies. That's all. Yeah, you need fruit for the fibre, but don't eat fruit by itself because it's like eating a bag of lollies and it will spike your insulin and then it drops. Jay, could you open the doors, babe, so we can breathe next time? I would fix your sleep. And it's not, yeah, you might need more carbs. Maybe you can't survive without carbs. Have some sweet potato. You gonna die? No? Try it. You won't get fat from sweet potato. I eat probably 200, 300, 400 grams of sweet potato a day, minimum. There's no bad carb if it comes out of the ground. No. Or off a tree. Yeah.
With all due respect, I can't hear with it's too loud out there.
Ah, okay.
It's your phone.
No problem.
Maybe these fans.
Fan back on. They're really noisy. Yeah, I had them on before. They're blowing paper everywhere. I'll tell you what, we'll try it for a minute. I'll try the fans for a minute. Okay. Hold on to the paper. I'll hold on to mine. Okay. If you want to lose body fat off your belly, you need to do two things. You need to look after your stress, therefore sleep so you can repair from your stress. And you need to control your blood sugar by eating regularly. Sharon, this is food, but this is equal carbs. Try having an omelette with vegetables in it at breakfast time. You don't have to just eat meat. Here we go. Yeah? Judge how you feel after a meal as to whether it was right for you. An hour after you have the meal, how is your mental clarity? Are you dull? More after you eat? Are you unsatisfied after you eat? Do you have more cravings for sugar? Do you want more salt? It will all give you an indication as to what you just ate, whether it's the right ratio of carbs and protein for you. Diet, I do believe in, is metabolic typing. That's what I'm talking about. Everyone's different. We're all different race backgrounds, so everyone digests things differently. Not the blood type diet. Don't like that one. I've got some opinions. Yep. Yep, blood fasting. You will ruin your digestive system if you eat anything you want. Like, we all know that. Macca's isn't good even if you put it into like one cheat meal. I am a fan. Have 2 cheat meals a week. Eat clean, eat paleo, add a few more carbs to the soaps if you want, or sweet potato. And add 2 meals, do whatever you want and spike your insulin. Love doing that. In fact, I think that ties you over with your discipline as well. And I find that works with clients. Like, what, you tell me that I can see whatever I want. And then it takes the whole, I'm not being told what to do thing out of it as well. You really can have what you want, just eat it twice a week and get over it. And then there's no guilt. No guilt twice a week. I've had to put these on, just pull them down, real sweet. Yeah, put that, leave it on. Leave it on, I'm good. Ready, I'll turn these off.